Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on another edition of Closing the First Deal. Today, we have the honor of having Kareisha, who is based out of CT, Connecticut. And my name is Holly, and my co-host is Dr. Gavin. I know y'all always be forgetting to introduce myself, but we're here. We're work in progress. And with that being said, Kareisha, how are you?
Hey Holly, how are you doing today? I'm doing great.
Good. That's good. That's good. So today's your day off?
Today is kind of a day off. It's a day off of overtime. I still go to work at
Okay.
3 though.
Collect that paper, stacking up is always a good thing. So let us know, like, what inspired you to start your real estate journey?
What inspired me, I would say, is just living in my apartment. This is back in 2017, and a switch kind of happened. I came from my parents' house where I didn't have to like pay any bills there or contribute at all. And I, profited off of that. Really didn't take the time to save money or anything either. It was just out here just kind of like living my best
Living
life.
life.
Just debt free, bill free, just living, whatever. And then unfortunately just being in the same house with my dad got just a little too much. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get an apartment. I'm done. And in this setting is where I decided to save like the most money I've ever saved. And that paying rent is just like, I don't know, it's pointless. Why would I pay rent when mortgages like are almost the same?
That's
Reminding you
true.
that it's 2017. It's not like now, but yes, rent and mortgage are like hand in hand at this point, for real. So why would
That's
I do
true.
that when I could get a house? So that was the inspiration behind it.
So did you decide to stay like near home or did you venture out?
I was literally 5 minutes from my parents' house.
Okay, still close to the family. Could
Yeah.
pop up on them anytime. That's
Mhm.
what's up. So when you were saving, like, what was your strategy? Did you stop going out? Did you create a budget? What did it look
Um,
like?
so saving at first was just kind of like the main thing I had to do was direct deposit. We are not even going to look at the money. So
Mm,
there was a time where I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get my money. I'm gonna save it. No, direct deposit. Don't look at it. Don't see it. So that was very helpful. When I had started my career as well, they offer us something called deferred comp, and it's like towards your retirement, you're not like allowed to touch it like without penalties and stuff like that. And I started that as soon as I started my job. So since
mm.
2013, I was putting money into that. And in the future, that would be the money that would help me buy my house. But yeah, as far as saving like on a regular basis, like on a bi-weekly basis with my checks, I just had to start with putting it into the savings account. Don't look at it, don't touch it, and start adjusting your life to the checks you get after you put the savings away first. Anything you put away extra now, it's just a bonus. And then I just kind of just did it like that. So it wasn't like a specific thing. It was just like, all right, I'm taking 800 out off the top. And then sometimes I put 100 in my savings or 200 or this or that, depending on how my bills go. But then when it was time to get a house, like when I was definitely 100,000% focused on getting a house, that's when I cut out going out. No big purchases. That's what my realtor said. You can't be flying around or buying cars, or do not make any significant purchases at this time if you're being serious about buying this house. So I cut out going out, online shopping, Amazon shopping. That was like heartbreaking. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I had to sacrifice a lot of things. If I really did not need it, I did not get it. I did not touch it. And it was a very great decision.
So, okay. So what made you contribute to the deferred comps in the first place? Because that's a big jump for somebody starting out in their career. Usually people like to enjoy their salary. I don't know if you started fresh out of college, but how did you get started with that?
So I basically did go get out, become a CEO fresh out of college, just off the strength that I literally could not find a job. So I had went back to my coffee shop that I was working at in high school, and then the CEO thing came up, and I was like, I don't know, but it's a state job, why not? did that. My mom had a friend who was about to retire. He had deferred comp, and he literally held up his phone, said, "Look at how much money is in here right now. Just look at this." It was like 360,000 or something like that. And he was like, "I started this at the beginning of my career, and this is what I have to show for it after like 20 years. This is all mine. Pay for my Benz in cash." Like, and I was like, okay, all right. So I'm gonna just do what you did and just see what happens with it.
While I am happy that he was able to motivate and inspire you to do so, I don't know if I want to share that as a strategy or a
No.
tip. I don't know if anybody can go out and buy cash, go out and buy a home, an investment property, or something. It was nice that he was able to save over 300 and change, but there
Mhm.
are much wiser decisions to make. Remember, keep in mind, everything is relative. This is somebody who is towards the end of their career. So if he
Right.
wanted to spend his cash on Benz, he had all the right to in the world. He wanted to
Right.
treat himself to something, cool. But if you're starting out, you don't have that kind of money. Don't be thinking about a Benz, right? This is
I
something that
agree.
he rewarded himself with, right?
I agree. Yes.
So
So
the other,
I guess I'm out here just not, I don't know. I feel like honestly, and I don't know if we're allowed to bring religion to it, but like I just see God throughout my whole journey. And I
so
just
speak
like,
on that. Touch on the spiritual aspect of your journey because a lot of time people don't realize, even if they're not religious, there are going to be times during this real estate journey where you're alone in a room, you have to make decisions and you're trying to figure out how you're going to get through. So there is a spiritual aspect to this. So what was yours?
mine was just like, even just the fact that me and my father had so much tension that I had to get out the home. If I stayed in my parents' house, I'm not sure if I ever would have had to drive to start saving up money and really wanting my own because I was so comfortable. Everyone should be comfortable not paying bills. That's great. And you would think like maybe that would push me to save, but it didn't. So I know one thing's for sure, two things for certain. If I could change something in my past, I'm definitely gonna be saving in a situation where I'm not paying bills. That's a great time to save as much money as you can. My journey, without saving money, without being a hard worker, getting this overtime and accumulating money, that's like one of the biggest things that I would suggest to people is save the money. Stop spending it on all these things that you do not need. Save the money because you need to get the property. Sometimes you got to renovate the property. It's like a whole bunch of things that cost. But as far as God goes, like I said, just having that tension, moving out, having that change in perspective and what I want for my financial future. Do I really want to be renting forever? Do I really not want to push myself to be a homeowner and experience what that is like? What having assets is like, and just having that whole new experience. Like, so being able to change my mindset was all God because I was extremely frivolous before that, and now I'm definitely not. And then having to change my life by not going out. I'm not spending money at the bar. I'm not going on this vacation. I even missed Holly's wedding over this. Holly's wedding was right after my offer got accepted. And I could not take the time to take a flight to go down to a wedding right now. Like my offer just got accepted.
Well,
So it's like,
congratulations on the house. That's dope.
right. But it was like sacrifice. I was like, oh my goodness. Like so many sacrifices had to be made and you have to be willing to do it. Like clearly it was like one of the best decisions I ever made, but it's like it didn't always come easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you buy a home that was move-in ready or did it need some renovations?
It was move-in ready, but like way too like old school. So renovations that could be done immediately, like got done immediately. Like for example, I had carpet, ripped up all that carpet, put new flooring down before like a move-in process happened. Um, I was fortunate enough that during COVID, my job was offering like hotels for free so that you don't infect your family. So I had a lapse where it's like my I bought the house in November 2020. My apartment lease ended January 2021. I was able to move out my apartment into the hotel up until April 2021, where they decided no more hotel for us. So my contractor slash uncle, he was able to get 4 months of work done in the house before I even got there. So I was able to like update things like the kitchen. Oh my goodness, so old and dusty looking. So now it looks great, like things like that. So
That's awesome. And shout
technically
out
it
to
was
your job.
moving ready. Yeah, shout out to my job and shout out to the
Yeah, 4
overtime.
months, my job didn't offer that. They were like, figure it out.
Shout
And
out
like,
to
y'all
my
stay
team.
home. Yeah, they just put us remote 24/7. Though right now they're trying to get us to go back to the office. And I'm like, I moved to a whole other state. Um, so who introduced you to your real estate agent? Was it someone you knew, or had they worked with another friend, or how did
So
that process?
my mom is a hairdresser, so she knows everything and everybody.
That's true.
Every resource I need, she has a friend.
Oh, that's what's up. Your mom always got the connections.
Mhm.
So would you have done anything differently with your first deal, with your experience closing the first deal?
No, I definitely would not. I had great mentors, two coworkers specifically, like older guys that had multiple properties. I would say the best piece of advice that I got was get a house that will make you money.
Mm.
Has to have the potential to make you money. And I didn't really know necessarily what that meant at the time. At this time as well, the market was changing because of COVID. So now we have to, my house, for example, was 250. My immediate offer was 265. So normally the houses that I was trying to buy, they were getting oversold like 50, 80,000, like crazy numbers.
Mm.
I had lost out on at least 10, maybe 12 homes before I got mine. So that was very
Wow.
discouraging. Um,
Yeah.
having to figure out how to work overtime and get into these house showings and stuff like that. That was like, there was times I snuck out of work, I swear, and had to go see a house. Like it's very time consuming. It's very discouraging, especially in this time. It's like I don't have 50,000 over asking. Like, how am I supposed to outbid these people? And here we go. God just listen, this house was for me, and I was meant to miss out on all those other houses. So the first thing I knew about this house about making me more money was when we went upstairs to the attic. Number one, the attic had its own stairwell. A lot of attics have like, like a pull down or nope, this had like a doorway, a normal size door, a whole stairwell going up. And the attic was completely empty and covered the house from like wall to wall. So it was the size of my apartment on the
Mm.
second floor. There's also a two-family house, I might add. So I already knew I was not getting a single family house because a single family house cannot make you money.
Mm.
So I got the two family because I knew I wanted someone else to help me pay my mortgage. Um, and then once I seen that the attic was completely empty, I said, this is what he was talking about. I'm gonna make this attic into an apartment. I know this. And all I could do was offer and see what happened. I offered 265. The asking was 250, and they actually accepted it.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Uh, So have you, or do you intend on purchasing additional properties? And what
Um,
role would?
I definitely want to purchase additional properties. Right now, I'm still in the process of renovating this house. So far, I've renovated my floor, which is the second floor. I've created that attic of a one bedroom apartment. It looks phenomenal. So I got my sister up there, and then
Nice.
I still have to renovate the first floor. So I'm doing that in January.
So no one's living on the first floor.
It's complicated. My uncle's living on the first floor.
Okay.
My uncle slash contractor is living on the first floor. He has proven
Okay.
himself to be a super
Reliable source.
procrastinator. Oh my goodness. I'm talking like pull your hair out procrastinator. Like, so the first floor could have been done. But because he procrastinates so much, I told him, you're going to pay me for it regardless. So, so yes, I'm still getting rent from the first floor, but it is very much like if he moved out, there is no way I'll be able to rent it to anyone else without getting stuff done. Absolutely not. Like the whole floor has been picked up, and but yeah, getting rent. But yes, I will renovate come January. The goal for that is to save up around like 15,000 for that. I think I could manage with that. It could cost more, it could cost less, we'll see, but 15,000 I think is a good point to start. So I'm focusing on that, working overtime and trying to put at least $1,000 away every check. And we'll just see how that goes.
So that sounds like a good play. Your advisors convinced you to house hack, essentially, right? Not just make sure it can make you money, but what you're doing, you got a 2-family, which is great. That's how I started off as well. I was a little nervous about getting into 3 and 4 units in New York City because that was like at $1 million and I didn't have anybody to hold my hand through the process. But you listen to your advisors, and I heard a couple of gems. You updated the floors, right? You renovated the kitchen. You added living space to the attic. So that's a stream of income. And then you have 2 other streams of income on your first property, right? What are your thoughts on the current market? How much did it appreciate?
If I looked right now, my house is at like pretty much 100,000 more, so in like the 360 range. I would like to add that they do not know that I renovated that attic.
So that means they'll bump up even more.
So that would technically boost it up even more. If I was to sell, which I feel like I would never, I was so blessed to have the 2.7 interest rate that COVID has had brought to us. So clearly I would never refinance. If I was to sell, I would kind of like sell it as like a 4-bedroom apartment, meaning like the attic is like connected to the second floor in a sense. And I'll kind of do it like that. The attic also does not have a kitchen up there, but I did allow like a stovetop that you could plug in.
Did you add a bathroom to it?
Oh yes, a wonderful bathroom.
Oh, so how many rooms is the unit right below it, attached to it?
So the second floor is 3 bedrooms.
So
The first floor is also 3.
that becomes a 4 and 2. And then which section of Connecticut are you in?
I am in West Haven, Connecticut.
You can get about $3,500 for that space if renting to Section 8 per month, and that's on the low end. You probably get 4,000 for that space. How many rooms is the first floor apartment?
The first floor is 3 bedrooms. Yep.
So yeah, you came up with that deal. You never sell that. You refinance in the future if you want to take leverage out as an investment property, but that's after you already bought your own home, a single family home. But you just let it sit. Don't even touch it. Like at some point, your uncle's gonna move out, or worst case scenario, you have to say, "Oh, you need to move upstairs. We need to finish this. If you're afraid to go out and spread your wings, you need to move upstairs with me. We need to bring this money in."
Yeah, he will be moving out in January, and that is
So now that you're in a great position, what are your goals for moving forward? How do you intend on purchasing additional property? What role will this property play in future investments? What are your plans?
All right, my plans right now are once I'm completed with the renovations, after that, I really want to focus on just credit card debt and other debt I've accumulated through this process. And then once I'm done with that and feeling like I'm in a great place as far as my credit score, my debt to income ratio and things like that, then I want to start looking into taking equity out of my home in order to purchase another home. And in that sense, I feel like I would want to partner up with somebody to go purchase that 4, 5, 6 family unit. I feel like that would be my best play as my second property. I have no interest whatsoever in a single family home. The only time I would even make that decision is possibly husband, child, Like it has to be very family oriented decision. But no, from this point for further in my life, everything will be income based, and someone else is going to be paying my mortgage every time. So we're just gonna see.
That's a good plan. That's a good plan. Definitely doable. Yeah, and teaming up with people is definitely helps you speed up the process of acquiring additional properties. I know with myself and Gavin and the rest of our team, we ended up buying land together in Florida. And now we're just learning, honestly, how to build the property on it or build a duplex. But yeah, it
Well,
would in
that's
the future,
awesome.
you know. Yeah. So I guess the next question, what does generational wealth mean to you?
So, I look at generational wealth, I look at my younger siblings. So, like I said, I have my sister in the attic. Based on how beautifully I did it, and I'm telling you, like spa-like bathroom, it is nice up there. I could probably get like a good 1,300 for it. I charge her 1,000. And when my uncle moves out, I was contemplating moving my brother and his wife in because they're paying rent. They're paying 1,800 for a very tiny small bedroom. And I'm thinking about, I could get him in here, charge him like 1,500. Like I'm realizing like it's really not about the money for me. Other
Mhm.
people think that it should be, which is their right. But I just don't feel like God put it on my heart for this to be like a money operation. I do get that we'll have enough for my mortgage to be covered and get like a couple hundred profit, but I don't know. That I think of generational wealth, I think of putting my brother and sister in a better position to do the same
Mm.
thing for themselves one day. The same way my parents did for me. I just didn't take advantage of that opportunity the way I should have. So when I think of generational wealth, I think of making sure that we're all good. And then obviously instilling things into my children, and that's going to be saving,
Yes,
saving, saving, saving.
You
that's
know,
dope.
my gut instinct was like, no, don't run to your family because people always hear of horror stories. So I'm sure you
Right.
see in my head like absolutely, absolutely not. But then as you continue to develop and articulate your response, I said, you know what, you do have a point, and you will receive money in abundance because of that approach. You're probably putting more positive energy out into the world, so it's going to come back to you abundantly. And generational wealth doesn't always mean money for your children, right? What you said is actually uplifting your entire family. So not just you and yours, your nieces, your nephews as well, right? And you might get to the
About
point
that.
where you're able to help your cousins as well. So it doesn't stop with the first inner ring. There are other rings, exterior rings that go with the family as well, right? So as you answer your question, I'm like, you know what? That is a great response, actually, because it's not just about us and our children. And I think Holly feels the same way. And I know I feel the same way about my nieces and nephews. So great response. Um,
Thank you.
with regards to you developing generational wealth, what are some of your goals? Before we get into what are your goals, we want you to think back to your 15-year-old self. What's some advice you would give a younger version of yourself or any teenager?
I mean, how you're exploring and living and learning your life. Everything comes down to me is to having discipline and saving that money. I can't stress it enough. Had I had better financial habits from a younger age, it wouldn't be, not that my journey was difficult, but I'm entirely blessed to have a job that offers overtime where I'm able to, get to work every day and get this money. But if you started when you were younger, if you had this discipline when you were younger, trust me, it makes your decisions much easier in the future. And just thinking about the opportunity, like with more money, I could have got a 3 family, a 4 family. Like there's so much more I could have done. Very happy with where I am, but if I could do it all over again, 15-year-old self who was a hustler, who started working at that little baseball park, yes, save it. Stop worrying about what people are buying. Stop worrying about having the best car, the best this, the best that. Like, there's so much more in your future that increases your wealth exponentially. None of these things, none of these material things have increased my wealth in any capacity. But this house has proven like, okay, there's a whole different financial future for me out there. And to be able to pass that down to my children, like I cannot wait for that.
Yay, that's a beautiful response. And there's quick background story. Like I know your mom has her own salon and stuff. So did they ever like talk to you about like financial literacy or encourage you to save, or did you kind of just brush your shoulder like, mom, leave me alone?
Let me tell you about Jamaican parents. Did they attempt to? Yes, the attempt was there. But I just remember coming home with that Infinity and my dad, oh my gosh, like cussed me out over this Infinity. And what did I say? You're a hater. I wasn't paying any bills in this man's house. Like I completely get it now, completely. But yeah, they tried, and it was just I know what I'm doing. This Infinity only cost me $500 a month. It's not even that much money. Like no, no. So they tried, but no, I didn't listen, and I regret it. I regret it, but it's okay. I'm on the right path now. And thank God for the deferred comp that I started in 2013 when I started the job,
Yes.
because when it was time to put down the real down payment, which ended up being 16,000 like 500 for me, I just had that sitting there in my deferred comp. And that was just background money that just was getting taken out every check since I started my job. So 7 years later, it was enough money in there to put down a down payment. So
That's what's
blessed.
up. Full circle moment. So, all right, so let's say looking back, so we want this video to be something that you could come back to. So what is a goal you want to have accomplished by the time you're like 50 years old? So when you look back at this, at 50 years old, you would have accomplished blank.
Oh my goodness. I don't know how many properties I want, but I
Pick a
know,
number.
all right, I'm gonna say 3. I hope to have at least 3 multi-unit properties by 50, and 0 credit card debt.
Okay,
That is what I want.
that is doable. That is doable for sure. Gavin, do you have any other questions before we close out?
No, I don't have any questions, but I want to thank you for your time, and giving us the opportunity to interview you. We appreciate your presence.
Thank you, and great meeting you.
Yeah, this has been awesome. Like, thank you so much, Kareisha, for tuning in and allowing us to interview you. We definitely picked up on a lot of gems, y'all. For everyone watching, make sure you're saving that paper. Don't just go out and buy whatever the Joneses are doing and try to keep up with everyone around you. Like, definitely stay focused on your goal, understand what you want out of life, and go for it, because it's definitely doable once you set your mind to it. And with that being said, make sure you hit the subscribe button and share it. And thank you so much for tuning in.